My name is Taylor Marsh. I am a psychology major with a minor in the teaching pathway. I am also the president of Soronian, also known as Iota Kappa Omicron here on campus. So that's me being a woman in leadership. And yeah, I'm a senior here at Olivet.
Right, hi, I'm Sophia Spar. I'm a sophomore. My major is exercise science and my minor is social work, and I'm also the SGA president here.
Well, thank you, ladies, for being willing to share vulnerably and stepping into this courageous space. We're going to start with this first question. How do you find the courage to lead in environments where female voices may be underrepresented or undervalued?
Oh, sorry. I think personally, just finding the courage, like, I don't know how to, like, as a little girl and as you grow up to be like a woman in leadership, just finding the courage from your peers and from the women that you are raised around you. Personally, me, like my grandma, just an example, like being raised around her. She's definitely a person who's given me the courage to lead in different environments. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I think family members play a huge part.
Yeah, and piggybacking off what you said,
Yeah.
I have a younger sister, so I know for me being a woman in leadership, a lot of the decisions I make are to better what I think she will experience, because I want her to go through the world in a way that I didn't have to go through, like something better for her. And if I see she's going through a problem or I'm going through a problem, and I see a lot of the girls are going through a similar problem, I feel like who better than me to address this? I'm not gonna leave it up to someone else who doesn't understand the problem as well as I do to try to address this and fix this for me and for all the women that it's gonna affect in the future. And then going off of Jaden, I have an older sister that I look up to. So seeing her, she's 2 years older than me. So seeing her go through like college or high school before me, seeing the way she was able to like lead captain for her team or just be present and voiced in theirs, like helps me know like I can do this too. Like I have the courage to go in front of people and help lead people and help them find their voices.
And I also, sorry, but I also think another thing, like to go further into the question, if you go into a headspace and places and environments when you're like, oh shoot, like I feel undervalued or I don't feel like I'm being taken seriously in a situation because I'm a woman in leadership. I think finding that courage like within and definitely like thinking to yourself, no, I am a woman, I can do this, and I want to represent everyone else around me, my peers and my friends and everyone else who might have doubts as well when going into an environment feeling that way. I think it can definitely be shown, or definitely like finding that courage from other people, if that makes sense.
Thank you, ladies. I love how you both brought in how important your role models and other family members matter to you. Deepening what you were just saying there, Taylor, how then would you suggest, like, how do you do this for yourself? How do you advocate for yourself or others in a leadership capacity?
I know for me, I worked on a project last year in one of my classes, and it was called the Walking Comets. And we basically saw that there was a need here on campus to that people weren't feeling safe after hours, like when it got dark out, walking back to their apartments, wherever they needed to go to their homes. And I knew for me that as a girl, I had felt that way. I felt unsafe walking through all of it at night. And so I thought, this program could be really helpful for me and for a lot of other people on campus. And it did get a little backlash from a lot of men on campus because they just didn't see the need. And it hurt me because a lot of these men were my friends. And I was like, you don't understand because you're not a girl and you've never had to experience life the way that I've had to experience it. So it's just like hearing their backlash like reinforced the idea to me that I have to stick up for myself and for like my fellow women. We got to stick together because we're the only ones that are experiencing life the way that we are. So like we can't rely on, oh, maybe all the people in power right now, they're all guys and they're super cool, but they don't experience life the same way we do. So we have to like advocate for ourselves and like make our voices be heard because otherwise they're just not going to be.
Thank you, Jaden. I love that. And there's a part of what you were saying is because you have your perspective and your point of view. But not everybody knows what you're thinking or feeling. And that is the point of advocating because everyone doesn't know what you're going through. That's empathy. And sometimes we actually have to stand up and say what's going on inside of us, what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling. That was beautiful. And so how is Comet?
Walking comments.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Walking Comet. How's it going today?
It's actually been doing really good. We just lost a lot of seniors that we were working with in the project, so we are working with the school to try to implement it and not have it rely directly on students, just to have it be more of a permanent structure here on campus. But we got a working pilot program up and running last semester. So yeah, it was successful.
It sounds like you're really challenging the status quo and pushing through some boundaries and barriers here. Does anyone else have any other stories where you may be challenging the status quo and pushing through barriers?
I personally, I think as being a woman in leadership as the president of a sorority is like a huge thing. It's a house full of women. And I think emotion is definitely a huge, I guess, boundary to pass through. We as women are stereotyped, I guess, I don't want to say this in the wrong way, but as emotional creatures, we are emotional people. And I think it is very hard sometimes to, be a structure and authority, but also to show sensitivity as a woman. That way you're not coming off as too strong or insensitive, but then you're also not being overly sensitive. So I think pushing the status quo in that way, like in my sorority, dealing with other houses or, we're huge planning event, like we've planned so many events with other houses and we do so many things with the school. And I think it is very difficult sometimes to push those boundaries when speaking to other people, and just voicing your opinion because you don't want to come off as too much or too little, if that makes sense.
It sounds like this is breaking the glass ceiling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sophia, do you have?
I would say so. I just stepped into this position as SGA president, so I'm still trying to figure out the ropes to all of it. But I would say just like pushing the status quo back to like clubs and organizations that like SGA is here to support other people and we're trying to get like people to get involved or like we want to participate, we want to get to know you, like we want to help you, like and then just getting past that status quo of like, oh, they're just here to govern us, like we're not, like we just want to be there to help you and just go to your events and support you and just like but also get feedback from you guys as to how we can help you do that as well.
So it sounds like there's a new emerging vision that's coming out of SGA.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
But if you were to bottom line it, what would you say it is today?
Right now we're just trying to like our motto is kind of just being the voice of the students, but we still want to push to being that, but also like we're here to help, like that's what we are. Like what we're doing, what was never done before.
And that's courageous, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think has been your hardest challenge so far?
Honestly, just getting in contact with the clubs and organizations and just being like, letting them actually know we're here to support them. Cause like we've sent out numerous emails trying to just let people know we're here. And then a lot of people just come back to us and be like, oh, like we didn't know this was happening or going on, or like it is. We'd love to get you to actually just contact us and just help us help you.
That sounds like you're building relationships.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. I wanted to ask, Taylor, you mentioned something about emotions and being in a woman, surrounding house with so many women and the emotions. And so I wanted to ask a question about resiliency. How do you maintain your leadership focus whenever you might have setbacks or doubts?
Personally, I just remind myself of my achievements and like the positive impact I have. I do make it a point to stay connected with my support networks. Even my friends and my peers and even the girls in the house are huge support to me. Sorry. I also sometimes even keep a journal, like just reflecting on both challenges and successes that I have. It helps me keep an outlook on where I'm going and where I'm headed. Helps me stay grounded and motivated, I guess, in a way, just to keep in contact with what I'm doing and who I'm doing it for.
That's beautiful. That sounds like some real renewal strategies.
Yeah.
Jaden, how about you? How do you stay resilient and what do you think about nourishment? Are you a nourished female leader?
I'd like to think that I am. But I think it's been tough for me and my leadership journey because so many of my peers in leadership positions have been men. So I've been like my whole life, taking the leadership qualities that men have and just being like, okay, so that's what a leader is. Then I'll act like that. I'm like, oh, that's how I should conduct myself as a leader. I need to be assertive and I can't show emotion, like you said. Like I gotta be cutthroat. I'm not. I'm a girl. I cannot do it. Like for the life of me, I cannot do that. So I think for me, when I come into barriers or and I have to stay resilient, and especially for my gender, if someone it's like in my walking comments program when men were like, I don't get this and this is dumb, we don't need this isn't a problem, just hearing that, it reminded me that I am doing the right thing. Just hearing the negativity drives me in a way. Sometimes it can shut me down, but in that sense it really did drive me because I knew that this was something that I needed and that a lot of other women on campus that I talked to needed. So just being reminded that, okay, if I don't do it, no one will, and this will make a positive impact for me and my community. And some people don't get it and that's fine, they probably never will. And I cannot sit around and explain it to every single person. But I tried, I tried, but I was like, they'll understand it someday. But right now I need to focus on what's best for me and what's best for this program that I'm working on and what my next moves as a leader are.
It sounds like there's almost a call, like there's a calling for you, for all three of you. And that last piece that you said about if I don't do this, no one will. Does that resonate? And how so?
I think it resonates with me like tying back into emotion because I feel like that's a huge thing. But imagine, you're in my shoes, you're the president of a sorority and a conflict arises between you and another house, or another person or anything, stereotyping is a thing. And I have to seem more approachable, but also handling my assertiveness. But still be intact with my emotions because like you said, I can't just be blunt, I guess. I have to I like my emotions. I have to, that's how I feel like I get things moved across. And I have been unfairly judged as being too emotional. So I have to balance this, which can seem difficult, but I mean, if I don't if I don't do it, who else is gonna do it?
And going off of that, I've kind of been told before, not told before, but I do also get very emotional when it comes to things that I'm passionate about. So hearing from people being like I'm kind of very, very like perfectionistic too, like I need everything to be perfect. So going off of things that don't go right, it's like, oh, it's okay, like not everything's gonna go right and it's not gonna go right for everything. And like a lot of people have setbacks too, and it can't go right for everyone. But it's like, we're trying to do events and it's like, if no one does it, no one will ever do it. Like we're trying to get people to be involved on campus. Like people always come to us and like, we want more events, and then we're trying to give them those more events, and then they come back and they're like, we don't want those events anymore, but it's like, no one, if we don't do it, no one will ever do it, so we're trying to just be there for them and be like, you wanted this, so we'll give you this, and then just take your feedback from there and keep continuing to do that too.
It sounds, it's a lot of balancing, isn't it? Balancing, how you're going to be your full authentic self in the world, and what does that look like? And to me, it sounds like going back to Jaden, when you're talking about most of them leaders in your world who you were looking up to were men, so you were embodying a lot of their characteristics and their leadership styles. But now you are all women leaders growing into becoming adults. And so now you're deciding, so here's the question, it's all about who is the woman that you are becoming as this emerging, glass breaking, empowered woman.
It's a big, that's a lot of.
I think the woman that I am trying to be and like growing to be, I want to be more balanced, and I want to embrace my femininity and use that as a leadership tool for me. Cause I know like in smaller groups that I've worked in, that has like worked well for me to have like a more like nurturing and caring, because that's just naturally who I am. So like embracing that more and not trying to like be something I'm not as a leader, like being my authentic self. Being kinder to myself, I think would be a big one. Just because, you know, I can't do everything and I want to, because I feel like these things, I'm really passionate about a lot of things, but I can't do everything and I need to prioritize my own like mental health and self-care. I think that's probably a really big thing for me.
I agree. Like, I feel like when you ask someone like, who is the woman that you want to be? I feel like that is a huge, like, outreaching question. And personally, you know, the woman that I want to be someone who is assertive, but I also don't want to let go of my emotion. I want to be someone, sorry. I got one, thank you. And I just want, you know, I want my voice to be heard, but I also don't want it to be looked at, oh, well, she's just a girl. You know, and I think everyone can also agree with that, being a woman in leadership, wanting to get your point across, but also don't wanting to come off too strong. I feel like that is I feel like our emotion is a huge thing. Sorry, I keep tying it back to emotion, but I love my emotions. I feel like that is a huge thing that, what's the word? It's a huge tool, I feel like, personally, that I can use and that every other woman can use. Yeah, you know, might not be, I mean, women are strong. I just don't know how to explain it in the way I want to.
I mean, we're not like as physically
Yeah.
assertive as a lot of
Exactly,
people are.
exactly. That is exactly what I'm trying to say.
I feel like we'd like try to foster collaboration a lot more. We want to make everyone feel included, where I think that a lot of like male leaders are like, this is the way that it's gonna be. Okay, and then people are like, yeah.
We
he
want to
gets
be
it.
welcoming.
Yeah.
I want to be open-minded. That's what I want to be. I want to be open-minded.
I would more say for me, just having confidence, especially like stepping into this role, like pretty young. You don't really see sophomores as presidents of things,
Yeah.
especially a really big organization. So just like not doubting myself and being like, we're doing what we need to do, and just like not stepping back from that and being like, we're going in with full confidence and we got this kind of mentality.
I feel like you're all standing very tall and continuing to grow and expand into who it is that you're becoming. It's very beautiful. So here's the last question, and it's about what does support look like from your classmates and your peers? Like if you were to ask for support from Your peers, what does that look like to you?
I would say for me, it's more emotional support, like just being like, if I ask if like I need help or something, they'll be like, oh, I got you, like I will definitely help you, or just like, don't be afraid to come back to me and be like, we need to change this, or like, you're doing great, but this is what needs to happen, like just like being there, but also like, if I'm doubting the stuff we're doing, or if someone else is doubting something we're doing, like within a group setting, just being like, hey, you got this, you're okay, like, we can all do this together, kind of type of thing.
And I think for me, like patience is a huge thing. It's everyone's first time living, you know, I really love that saying. And I think just being, you know, patient, like for me specifically in my role being the president of a sorority, you know, there's things that have to be get done, there's deadlines to make. And I'm only one person, you know, and I think definitely, you know, when I need the help, it's great to have it there. Um, I also think holding myself accountable as well, though. My position really is, you know, making sure that everyone's doing their job and getting their things done, but you know, I'm a human being too. I make mistakes. Um, I personally am not afraid to fail. It sucks when I fail, but I'm not afraid to make mistakes. Um, but the leniency and the patience when I do make those mistakes is a huge thing, but also holding myself accountable. You know, I hold you guys accountable, but don't be afraid to hold me accountable too.
Sounds mutual.
Yeah, yeah, very mutual.
I think for me, support, it's a very emotional thing for me. Like if I need support, I just need someone to like, I need to be able to talk about what I'm going through and someone to be like, oh, I hear you, I understand what you're saying, I'm here for you, blah, blah, blah. And I think that that's really important for me. But so yeah, that's like a big thing for me, just like if I'm emotionally needing support, sometimes I think it's really important as women leaders to get support in our projects that we're working on, like delegating tasks and stuff. So I feel like support in that way is huge, so it's not all falling on our shoulders and we're not like taking all the responsibility. But then it's like, I want quality work. If I'm gonna ask you to do something, I know you're capable of doing it, like put like into some effort for this, like I trusted you,
Yeah.
I want you to like, please give me all that you can on this project. So yeah, I feel like that's what support is to me.
It sounds like high standards, high expectations, teamwork, collaboration. And a lot of it sounds like a lot of asking for things. How are you on the skill set of asking for things? A scale of 1 to 10, no problem?
I do personally have a bit of a difficult time asking for help, but it's great to know that it's there if I need it.
What is the barrier that causes you to not ask for things?
I just don't wanna like, and not saying come off as pushy, but like, I guess not burden anyone with like what I need them to do,
Yeah.
just be like, it's okay if you can't do it, but like, I would love for you to do this, just like.
I was just raised very independent, so I
Yeah.
feel like my independence gets in the way of me sometimes because I'm like, no, I can do this myself, you know? But I also need to get over that because I need the help from my peers.
There's a consequence.
Mhm.
What is it?
You get so burnt out.
Yeah.
You're taking on everything. We can't do everything.
So.
No one can do it.
No.
That's beautiful. Well, ladies, is there anyone else in the group? We have a whole live audience today. Any other questions? Oh, I have a question. If you were to give advice to, how about the incoming freshmen that are here, could be male or female? What advice would you give them?
I'd say like my advice would, just to believe in their abilities, you know. To seek out role models, definitely. I know I have role models that have severely helped me in my outlook on life and my outlook on the projects that I work on. So I think it's great to pick someone and not obviously follow every step that they make because everyone makes mistakes, but to learn, you know.
I'd say going off of that, just like just do it. Like, if you have the doubts, just go for it. Like, I had a lot of doubts even thinking about stepping up into being the president of SGA, and it's like, just one day it clicked and said, why not? Like, what's holding you back? Just do it, kind of thing.
I'd probably say get involved, try to meet as many new people as you can, try to as many new experiences as you can. I know when I was a freshman, I was very like petrified of what people thought of me. And I can guarantee you no one really cares. No one's like worried about what you wore to class one day or, oh, you answered that question wrong. Like just get out of your head and enjoy being here.
Well, thank you, Jaden, Taylor, and Sophia. Thank you so much for the aliveness and your vulnerability and sharing your insight and all of your growth and your visions. It's been an honor and a blessing to be with you today. And I think after this, Women's Leadership Institute is going to be hosting an event. What's the event we're hosting?
Having a networking event.
So we get to practice what we've been talking about. So would you like to invite the group?
Come to our networking event. You are more than welcome to come.
All right, well, the WLI panel is signing off. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.